Money is not just currency. It is an idea, a spiritual vibration, a divine manifestation that flows from the invisible to the visible. To truly understand money and how it operates in your life, you must begin to see it not as something outside of you, but as something already within you. When you recognize that money is a spiritual idea, you step into a new realm of thinking where your external lack is no longer the dictator of your internal truth. The divine mind does not operate in terms of scarcity. God lacks nothing, and you were created in His image. So why then should you believe that you were meant to live in lack? The truth is, you weren't. You were meant to live in the flow of abundance. The reason so many struggle financially is because they are trying to receive physical wealth without first aligning with the spiritual truth of it. Money as a spiritual idea means it begins in the unseen realm. It is born in thought, shaped by belief, and manifested through faith. The world teaches you to chase it, hustle for it, grind until you bleed. But divine law teaches that when you are aligned with spiritual principles, money begins to chase you. When your spirit is aligned with truth, there is no anxiety in your pursuit of provision. You no longer strive. You attract. You receive because you are in right relationship with the source of all things. You must stop seeing money as a material object controlled by banks, governments, or employers. Those are only channels, not the source. The real source is infinite. When you believe that money only comes through limited channels, you limit the ways God can bless you. But when you understand that God is the source of all good, and that money is simply one expression of that goodness, you allow money to come to you freely, creatively, and consistently. This understanding also shifts your relationship with money. When you see it as spiritual, you no longer worship it or fear it. You no longer say, "Money is evil," because you know it is neutral. What you do with it reflects your inner world. When your heart is right, money becomes a tool for good. It becomes a way to bless others, to expand your life, and to glorify God. But if your heart is filled with fear or greed, then money will only amplify those qualities. This is why the spiritual understanding of money is crucial. Without it, you are ruled by it. With it, you rise above it. Money flows not to those who work the hardest, but to those who are most aligned with divine truth. And that truth is this: God has already given you everything. There is no separation between you and your abundance except the veil of your own disbelief. The moment you shift your thoughts from, "I don't have," to, "It is already mine," you move into harmony with the divine flow. You unlock the door that was never really locked. It only seemed that way because you believed it was. Begin to treat money as sacred. Bless it every time you receive it, no matter how small. Speak kindly about it. Never curse money or say, "I'm broke," because your words are powerful. They shape your reality. If you treat money as a spiritual gift, it will begin to treat you like a spiritual steward. You will find that it begins to multiply, to come from unexpected places, to stretch further than it ever did before. Why? Because money, like everything spiritual, responds to honor, gratitude, and faith. If you want more money, don't just ask for it. Elevate your consciousness. Don't just work harder, believe deeper. See money as already flowing toward you. Visualize it blessing you and others. Act as though you are already provided for, because in spiritual truth, you are. Let this become your new reality. Money is not outside of you. It is the reflection of divine provision already working within you. Once you see money as a spiritual idea, the struggle ends and the flow begins. The subconscious mind is the silent architect of your reality. What you deeply believe, not just on the surface, but in the depths of your inner being, becomes the foundation of your life experience. When it comes to money, this truth is no different. If your subconscious is programmed with ideas of lack, unworthiness, or fear around money, then no matter how much effort you exert externally, you will continue to struggle. You may affirm abundance with your lips, but if your inner world is rooted in limitation, your results will reflect it. The law of mind works with precision. It does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe to be true. That is why so many people who work hard and strive day after day still remain stuck in financial turmoil. because their subconscious mind is still repeating the old story. I never have enough. I'm always in debt. I'm not lucky with money. Or I don't deserve to be wealthy. Until you renew your subconscious patterns, your outer circumstances will keep mirroring the past. The great work of prosperity begins not in the wallet, but in the soul. The first step is to identify the limiting beliefs that have taken root over the years. These often begin in childhood, things you heard from your parents, your community, or past experiences where you associated money with fear, shame, or even guilt. Perhaps you were told that rich people are selfish, or that money doesn't grow on trees, or that wanting wealth makes you greedy. These ideas lodge into the subconscious and operate like silent scripts running in the background of your life. But the moment you recognize that you can rewrite the script, everything begins to change. You do not have to remain a prisoner of your old programming. The subconscious mind can be reconditioned with repetition, emotion, and spiritual truth. Every time you speak affirmations of wealth, visualize abundance, and act in faith, you plant new seeds. At first, it may feel unnatural because the old patterns are still present, but with consistency, the subconscious begins to accept the new pattern as truth. When you say, I am aligned with divine supply, or I deserve to be richly provided for, and you feel the energy of those words, you are doing powerful spiritual surgery on your inner world. You must understand that your subconscious is not judging you. It is simply recording. It does not care whether the belief is empowering or limiting. It will continue to recreate whatever you've fed it repeatedly. So be mindful of your self-talk. Monitor your thoughts. Correct the ones that do not serve your divine destiny. Instead of thinking, I'll never get ahead, replace it with, I am always supported by divine abundance. This isn't wishful thinking. It's conscious reprogramming. It's aligning yourself with a higher spiritual law that always responds to belief. Emotion is a powerful amplifier. When you feel joy, gratitude, and confidence while affirming abundance, you accelerate the process of subconscious transformation. That's why gratitude is not just good manners. It's a magnetic force. When you are thankful for the money you have now, no matter how small, you are telling your subconscious, this is enough, and I am ready for more. That state of thanksgiving prepares the inner soil for greater increase. It is also essential to act in alignment with your new beliefs. If you say you believe in abundance but hoard money in fear, you send mixed signals to your subconscious. But when you circulate money joyfully, give generously, and trust that it will return multiplied, you reinforce the truth of divine supply. Your actions become an extension of your inner faith. And as faith increases, so does the flow of provision. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And who you are is shaped by the stories you repeat to yourself every day. So make them stories of wealth, stories of divine overflow, stories of miracles and provision. The world around you may not change overnight, but your inner world can shift in a moment. And when it does, the outer must follow. Rewire the subconscious. Plant new seeds. Speak new truths. And expect the harvest. For money flows easily to those who believe, at the deepest level, that they are meant to prosper. The law of attraction is not simply a mystical idea, but a spiritual truth that governs all forms of energy, including money. Like attracts like, what you consistently focus on, emotionally charge, and expect with faith, you begin to draw into your life. When it comes to money, many people focus on lack, worry, and fear, and then wonder why their financial lives reflect those exact conditions. Your thoughts are magnets. Your emotions are amplifiers. And your beliefs are blueprints. Together, they send out a signal to the universe, which responds with precision. You cannot think poverty and attract abundance. You cannot complain about lack and expect overflow. You cannot worry every day and expect to live in peace and plenty. The universe echoes back what you send out in faith or fear. The law of attraction does not discriminate between positive and negative. It simply delivers what matches your dominant vibration. The key is to become a vibrational match to the abundance you desire. This is not about pretending or faking wealth. It is about aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the spiritual truth that you are already connected to divine supply. When you wake up each day and give thanks as if the provision has already arrived, you step into the energy of receiving. Gratitude is a powerful attractor. It tells the universe, I am ready, I believe, I receive. When you combine gratitude with vision, when you see in your mind the life you desire, feel its joy, and speak it out loud, you are activating the law of attraction in full force. The universe responds to clarity, confidence, and consistency. Visualization is not daydreaming. It is spiritual planning. When you sit quietly and see yourself receiving a check, enjoying financial freedom, blessing others with your overflow, or living in a beautiful space, you are imprinting your subconscious and radiating a powerful signal into the spiritual realm. That signal becomes a magnet. But you must hold the vision long enough for it to take root. Many give up too soon. They visualize once and expect instant change. But spiritual law works through faith and persistence. As you keep your inner focus on abundance and your outer actions aligned with trust, things begin to shift. Also, your environment matters. If you are constantly surrounded by voices of fear, lack, and scarcity, those vibrations affect your field. Guard your ears. Guard your eyes. Speak only words that reinforce your belief in abundance. Be mindful of the music, media, and conversations you consume. What you absorb becomes part of your energy. Create an atmosphere of abundance around you. Place affirmations where you can see them. Write your goals and say them out loud. Celebrate small wins. Give thanks often. Act as though the flow of money is already increasing, because spiritually it is. Faith-filled action is also part of this law. The universe meets you at your level of movement. If you want increase, you must move like someone who expects it. That means budgeting with intention, sowing seeds of generosity, investing in your growth, and treating your finances with respect. Do not wait until you have more to act like someone who lives in abundance. Start where you are with what you have. As you act in faith, the energy of expectation increases. The law of attraction is not magic. It is spiritual alignment in motion. One of the greatest obstacles to attracting money is hidden resistance. Many subconsciously push away wealth because of guilt, fear, or unworthiness. That's why self-love and spiritual identity are so crucial. You must know that you are worthy, not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. You are a divine expression of infinite intelligence. You are not here to struggle and strive. You are here to flow, to thrive, and to demonstrate God's abundance. When you accept that truth fully, your vibration changes. You stop chasing and start magnetizing. You stop begging and start expecting. And money begins to respond. Affirm this daily. I am a powerful magnet for divine abundance. Money flows to me easily and consistently. I live in alignment with the highest truth of prosperity. Say it, believe it, feel it, and act like it's already true. Because the moment you align your inner world with abundance, the outer world must follow. It is law. Money is not just a physical currency. It is a form of spiritual energy. It reflects the invisible forces at play in your inner world and in your relationship with divine law. Many people chase money as if it is something external, something far away that must be hunted down. But those who understand spiritual truth know that money is drawn to consciousness, not effort alone. Your energetic relationship with money determines whether it flows freely or with resistance in your life. If you see money as scarce, hard to get, or something to be feared, it will mirror that experience back to you. But when you see money as an extension of divine supply, a tool for good, and a natural part of your life, you open the doors to financial flow. Your consciousness is like a garden, and your thoughts and feelings about money are seeds. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and lack, the harvest will be struggle. But if you plant seeds of faith, expectancy, and gratitude, the harvest will be abundance. You must tend to your inner garden daily. Watch your inner dialogue. Become aware of how you talk about money, even in casual conversation. Words have power. Every time you say, I can't afford that, or money doesn't come easily, you are reinforcing a vibration of limitation. Instead, shift your language to speak abundance. Say, I am preparing to receive, or money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. These are not empty phrases. They are spiritual commands that shape your subconscious and signal the universe. Money also responds to clarity. Vague desires create vague results. If you want more money, be specific. Know how much, why you want it, and how it will be used to serve your highest purpose. When your intention is clear and aligned with good, the spiritual realm moves faster. The universe is not withholding. It is waiting for you to become specific, intentional, and ready. Ask for what you need boldly, without shame or guilt. There is no spiritual virtue in poverty. The same God who painted the heavens with stars also designed you for fullness and provision. Another principle is circulation. Money, like blood, must flow. When it is hoarded in fear, it becomes stagnant. But when it is shared with love, it multiplies. Giving is not losing. Giving is sowing. When you give with joy, whether it's to help a friend, support a cause, or express generosity, you step into the cycle of increase. But the attitude of giving matters. Give with faith, not with fear. Give knowing it is coming back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The law of circulation ensures that what you release, with a good heart, will find its way back to you multiplied. You must also understand that money does not come from people. It comes through them. People are channels, not sources. The true source is divine. If you attach your provision to a job, a person, or a single opportunity, you limit what God can do. But when you release attachment and trust the infinite supply, you become open to blessings from directions you never imagined. Opportunities, clients, ideas, gifts, and unexpected favor begin to show up when you stop clinging to one channel and open your heart to the source of all. Forgiveness is another key. Resentment and lack cannot coexist. If you are holding on to bitterness, envy, or past wounds, you are blocking the flow. Your heart must be free. Forgive others, forgive yourself, and release the past. Money flows best through a heart that is light, open, and full of love. Let go of old financial regrets. Stop replaying your past mistakes. Learn the lesson and move on. Every moment is a fresh opportunity to align with abundance. Finally, trust the timing. Seeds do not sprout the moment they are planted. There is a divine process. Stay faithful, stay consistent, and don't dig up what you've sown just because you haven't seen the harvest yet. Your job is to believe, act, and align. The universe's job is to deliver. Money is already on its way to you. Let your thoughts, words, and actions reflect that truth. When you understand that money is energy, and you treat it with spiritual respect, it begins to flow naturally, because you are no longer chasing it, you are attracting it. Fear is one of the greatest barriers to the flow of money. It operates silently in the background of your thoughts, subtly shaping your beliefs, your decisions, and the energy you emit into the world. Fear says, there is not enough. Fear says, you're not worthy. Fear says, it's too risky to believe. But faith, which is the opposite of fear, declares, there is more than enough for all. Faith affirms, I am connected to divine supply. Faith moves forward with boldness, even when the visible evidence is lacking. Those who understand how money truly works know that it is attracted not by desperation, but by confidence, peace, and expectancy. When you radiate fear, you push money away. When you radiate faith, you draw it near. You must examine your inner fears around money. Are you afraid of not having enough? Are you afraid of losing what you have? Are you afraid of being judged for wanting wealth? These fears may not be loud, but they often lurk in your subconscious, sabotaging your progress. The first step is to bring them into the light. Name them, confront them, and then replace them with truth. The truth is that you are not alone. You are not separate from the source. You are divinely supported in all things, including your financial life. When you align with that truth, fear begins to lose its grip. Fear often shows up in your habits. Perhaps you hesitate to invest in yourself, even though you know it would lead to growth. Or you avoid checking your bank balance, pretending that ignoring it will somehow fix it. Or maybe you feel uncomfortable asking to be paid what you're worth. These are all signs of fear-based patterns. To break them, you must make decisions from faith, not fear. That means choosing to act as if provision is already assured. It means honoring your value, managing your money with clarity, and moving forward even when your mind whispers doubt. The spiritual path of abundance is not about being reckless. It is about being fearless. Fearlessness is not the absence of concern, it is the presence of trust. Trust in divine timing. Trust in your worth. Trust in the invisible laws that govern prosperity. Every time you act from trust, even in a small way, you shift your vibration. And when your vibration changes, your outer world begins to reflect it. Fear also disguises itself as logic. It says, be realistic. It says, you don't have the qualifications. But logic, when guided by fear, becomes limitation. True wisdom listens to spiritual insight. It knows that what is impossible for man is possible with God. It understands that miracles often begin when you take one step beyond what makes sense. Many breakthroughs in finances come not when you figure everything out, but when you surrender the how and trust the who. The source of your supply is greater than your understanding. You are not required to know the entire path, only to take the next step in faith. Another powerful way to dissolve fear is through gratitude. Fear focuses on what is missing. Gratitude focuses on what is present, and what you focus on expands. When you give thanks for what you have, you create space for more. Even if your bank account is small, give thanks that you have something. Give thanks for every penny, every opportunity, every lesson. Gratitude is a declaration of trust. It says, I believe that more is coming. It is impossible to feel both deep fear and deep gratitude at the same time. Gratitude rewires your mind, it opens your heart, and it activates the law of increase. You must also watch your associations. Fear is contagious, but so is faith. Surround yourself with voices that inspire courage. Read stories of those who overcame lack and walked into abundance. Speak with those who affirm spiritual truths. Limit your exposure to fear-driven media and conversations. Your environment affects your vibration. Choose wisely who and what you allow into your mental and emotional space. Above all, remember that you were not created to live in bondage to fear. You were created to live in freedom, in joy, and in overflowing provision. Money is not your master. It is your servant. It follows your lead. And when you lead with faith, when you speak life, when you move forward in trust, money flows more easily into your life, because fear has no more power to block it. You are not here to worry, strive, or panic. You are here to align, believe, and receive. The more you release fear, the more room you make for abundance. One of the most profound truths about money is that it is not a root of evil, but a magnifier of intention. It reflects the energy, beliefs, and purpose of the person who holds it. Those who understand this principle do not chase money for its own sake. They recognize it as a divine tool, an extension of spiritual power that can build, bless, and transform. But to wield this tool correctly, one must first understand purpose. Money that flows without purpose often disappears. But money directed with clarity and vision multiplies and blesses not only the receiver, but all connected to them. When you align your financial intentions with your higher calling, money begins to move with ease. The universe supports what is aligned with divine good. If your goal is only personal gain, the flow may be sporadic or stressful. But when your desire includes the betterment of others, the expansion of love, the creation of peace, and the expression of joy, then money flows not as a trickle, but as a stream. This does not mean you must become a martyr or neglect your own needs. In fact, meeting your needs joyfully is part of your divine responsibility. But it means your financial vision expands beyond you. You become a vessel through which divine supply moves into the world. To activate this flow, ask yourself powerful questions. Why do I want more money? What will I do with it that serves others as well as myself? How will my prosperity create greater light in the world? These are not questions of guilt but of alignment. When you know your purpose, every dollar has direction. Money is no longer random or chaotic. It becomes organized, energized, and magnetized to your intention. Purpose also brings focus. When you know why you want money, you stop being distracted by what doesn't serve you. You are no longer tempted to chase every opportunity, hustle in every direction, or be swayed by fear-based decisions. Purpose acts like a compass. It keeps you centered. It helps you say no to what is not meant for you and yes to what leads to expansion. And with clarity comes confidence. The universe responds more quickly to a soul that is certain. Many people live disconnected from purpose because they have never paused to reflect. They move through life fulfilling obligations, following others' paths, or trying to survive. But there is a higher way. Your purpose is not something you invent. It is something you uncover. It is already within you, planted like a seed by divine intention. And when you nourish that seed with attention, love, and truth, it begins to blossom. As it blossoms, money becomes drawn to your energy, not because you are chasing it, but because you are fulfilling your design. Money follows meaning. People pay for value, and value is created when you express your unique gifts in service to others. Whether your gift is teaching, healing, creating, organizing, building, or inspiring, it holds the power to create wealth. Not by force, but by flow. When you show up in authenticity and give the world your best, you open the door for money to support your journey. The more you stay rooted in your spiritual identity, the more naturally opportunities arise. Purpose also shields you from fear. When you know you are here on divine assignment, you stop worrying about lack. You begin to see money not as a master, but as a servant of your mission. Even in seasons of delay or uncertainty, purpose keeps you steady. You remember that supply is always connected to assignment. Where there is vision, there is provision. Where there is calling, there is supply. You are never abandoned when you are aligned. Let your purpose lead. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Build your business, your work, your creativity around it. Let every financial decision be filtered through the lens of, does this serve my divine calling? And watch how the universe responds. Money begins to flow where there is clarity, where there is contribution, and where there is conviction. You were never meant to wander aimlessly through the wilderness of survival. You were meant to walk boldly in your divine design. And when you do, all that you need, including money, will be added unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Because when purpose is the foundation, prosperity becomes the natural outcome. Your words are containers of power. They are not idle or empty. They are forces that shape the invisible into the visible, the unseen into the seen. Those who understand the spiritual laws of wealth know that every word spoken is either a seed of abundance or a seed of lack. When you speak with faith, confidence, gratitude, and clarity, you open the gates through which money flows. But when you speak words of fear, limitation, complaint, or doubt, you create spiritual blocks that repel the very good you desire. Your financial life is a reflection of your verbal life. If your mouth speaks increase, your life will reflect increase. If your mouth speaks lack, your life will reflect lack. Begin to listen closely to your language. Do you often say things like, I can't afford that, money is hard to come by, or I'm always broke? These statements may seem harmless or even humorous, but they are powerful affirmations that program your subconscious mind and send signals to the universe. The law is exact: what you speak, you create. If you declare scarcity, scarcity must follow. But if you declare abundance, abundance must begin to respond. Change your language and you change your life. Speaking abundance does not mean lying or pretending. It means aligning with truth at a higher level. You are not ignoring your current reality. You are choosing to speak what is spiritually true, even if it's not yet physically seen. You may not have the money in your hand, but you have it in your faith. You may not see the opportunity today, but your words are calling it forth for tomorrow. Your declarations are not based on current circumstances. They are based on divine promises. Your words also create the atmosphere in which your money lives. A positive, peaceful, expectant atmosphere invites prosperity. A heavy, stressed, and negative atmosphere pushes it away. When you speak life over your finances, you create a spiritual climate that allows solutions to emerge, creativity to grow, and unexpected provision to appear. Every time you say, money flows easily and freely to me, you are programming your spirit to expect it. Every time you say, I always have more than enough, you are training your mind to recognize abundance. Every time you say, I am aligned with divine wealth, you are placing yourself in harmony with the source of all supply. There is no power in a word until it is spoken. A thought is powerful, but a spoken word activates that power. Speaking something aloud energizes it with vibration and life. This is why affirmations are not just motivational tricks, they are spiritual practices. They rewire your internal landscape and tune your frequency to the channel of abundance. Speak your truth boldly, even if no one else around you does. You are not depending on human agreement. You are aligning with divine law. It is also important to speak well of others who are prosperous. When you criticize or envy someone else's wealth, you are rejecting the very thing you desire. Your subconscious mind hears your judgment and assumes that wealth is bad, corrupt, or dangerous, and therefore must be avoided. But when you bless the wealth of others, you align with it. Say, I'm grateful they are blessed. What God did for them, He can also do for me. This simple shift allows your heart to remain open to receive. Speak blessings over your money. No matter how little or much you have right now, speak increase. Say, this money multiplies. It goes out and returns to me multiplied. Speak abundance over your work, your creativity, your business. Say, clients are drawn to me. Opportunities seek me. I am in the right place at the right time. These words are not mere wishes. They are declarations that create. Even in the midst of financial pressure, refuse to curse your situation. Never say, I'm stuck, nothing ever works for me, or I'll never get ahead. These words are like poison to your prosperity. Instead, say, this is temporary. Something greater is on its way. I am learning, I am growing, I am rising. Let your words prophesy your future, not your fear. You have the power to shape your financial destiny with your words. Speak as one who is already blessed. Speak as one who is already supported by the universe. Speak as one who knows that money is a servant, and you are its wise, loving master. Your mouth is the wand. Your words are the spell. Choose them with wisdom. Speak with authority. And watch as the world begins to rearrange itself to match the frequency of your voice.